Hi, I'm Dana Robinson with Plumpy, Thimble, and today I am in Bellevue, Washington. Drove down a few hours listening to exclusively show tunes in the car to get to Washington's most inclusive gaming convention. We're going to take a look and see how that manifests. There are pronoun badges. There are badges that display how comfortable you are with certain social interactions. There are sign language interpreters, wheelchair access. And again, I am kind of stuck on those show tunes. Looking at you, Pirates of Penzance, have that was a doozy of a trip. Hi, I'm here with Donna Pryor, the executive director of Orca Con and the community director for Catan. All right, so we're here with Quartet Games with Alex and Victoria. Hi, I'm here with Tony Miller, game designer, podcaster, and probably like 15 other labels that I'm not mentioning right now. Christy, you're one of the many colorful personalities that those attending Orca Con can only hope to meet here. And you traveled from out of state to attend. Your board game photography is top-notch, and you were honestly one of the very first board game accounts I followed on Instagram, because you were probably doing a giveaway or something. I'm here with Christian Kang, who runs Take Your Chits, as well as a number of other things that he'll insist on talking about. Christian, your board game content is a little like the Sight and Sound Top 100 movie list of all time, in that it's very, very good, but comes out only once a decade. Okay, so we're here at Orca Con with Christine Pruett.
Yeah.
And she has created a game called Castles and Cats. It's an RPG for how old?
Preschool to early elementary. My youngest playtester is 3, and my oldest one is around 9.
Tan, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Catan.
Catan. It is Catan.
Catan Studio. Oh. Actually, it's funny because we had a shirt at the Catan shop that it says it's got little parentheses, it's pronounced Catan. Yeah, hold that knowledge. Wield it like
exactly.
a sword. Ha-ha.
I get it. It is... do you consider, is it the most inclusive convention in Seattle, or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we focus on diversity, inclusion, and accessibility. Mm-hmm. And so we go out, and if you'll notice our guest list, they're all people of color who work in the games industry. Mm-hmm. And we're focusing on Latinx, Latin creators this year.
So I was wondering, since you are a design team and a publisher as well, like when you're showing at a convention like this, is it sort of a Sharks versus Jets like competition type thing with other publishers, or is it more of a more camaraderie when you're here at Orca Con?
I think that, so we've demoed, I think, at over 30 conventions and various tabletop events, and the thing that surprised me the most, and one of the things that I love the most about being an indie game designer and publisher, is that everything is really collaborative. So some of the biggest fans that you get for your game are actually the other indie designers and publishers there. So it's more of a supportive environment, I would say.
Yeah, because there's a lot of situations where you're demoing a con and nobody shows up to play your game, and the same is happening for other designers. So designers just pick up, play each other's games, and do the thing. We're all in this together, and we're all understanding how hard it is to be an independent designer, and there's not a lot of money flowing in the design space. So I think it's kind of forced us to become more collaborative and supportive of each other than cutthroat and hateful.
Yeah, Tony's here with, you've got a number of different games today, right?
Yep.
First of all, you designed Fire in the Library and so graciously signed it. Can you tell me about those sumo bugs, though?
Sumo bugs, yes. So my next design that's already been signed with Board Game Tables is called Kabuto Sumo, and it's based on a coin pusher mechanism and features some lovely little, I call them my chunky beetle boys, because they're great big fat beetles wrestling on a circle. So I have a lot of fun talking about it with my son.
That's exactly what I'm looking for in a game.
Yes. I designed it for my son because he's 6, so he's just learning how to read, so a lot of the things that involve more text, especially like Fire in the Library, were a little bit past what he was up for.
Okay.
So I went and designed a game that specifically I could play with him, and he loves all of the coin pusher machines in arcades. He'll blow all of his money in one, so I decided to try to do something with that.
Okay, first off, what's the deal with Xanadu? Because you've mentioned it a few times in some of the very professional board game chats we're in, and you seem insistent that you are Olivia Newton-John's doppelganger.
I am going to have to disagree that we're in any professional board game environment.
What do you do? Why am I talking to you?
I don't know. I haven't posted on Instagram in months.
This is going swell. Later. Perfect. All right, game of the con. What's the best game of the convention you've played? Chicken Heist?
I've only played Chicken Heist, so by default it is Chicken Heist.
Okay, I played that at Terminal City Tabletop Con last year.
Okay, are you interviewing me or?
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the game and how it works as a system?
So as far as the game goes, Casas gets like a stepping stone RPG. So ideally the idea is to start kids out with this system. And as the system goes on, the mechanics get a little bit more challenging until eventually they finish all the adventures in the series and they're able to move on to more complicated RPGs. I came up with this system. It uses a lot of pictures. My youngest son is autistic and he's nonverbal, and he uses PECS, P-E-C-S, to communicate with us. So he flips through binders and pulls out pictures and puts them on this little board. And that gives us a sentence to either he requests something or he wants to communicate something, like, I see a bird outside, or I hear something, stuff like that. So I took that picture system and put it to the game to make it easier for all kids to figure out, like a character sheet, like a visual character sheet.
Yeah, and one of the things I like about Orca Con too is that, and it's something that's sort of in the back of the mind at most conventions probably, but the accessibility for people with disabilities as well.
Right.
Having ASL sign language interpreters, having wheelchair access everywhere is pretty cool, and that's awesome. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've got, this is the new thing we've done this year.
Oh yeah.
These little communication buttons. Last year we tried it with clothespins, and so people could put a clothespin, and we had signs up saying what it meant. And then I got a lot of feedback on Twitter about color blindness, and we really wanted to do it with buttons anyway. So we decided to do that, put it up for sponsorship. We didn't get any takers because it was going to cost like $3,000.
Okay.
So we decided as a board to just go ahead and do it. Okay. And so they're in bulk. We wanted to have them in bags and would have the logos, on the bag, but we bought them all in bulk, and so there's more than enough for everyone to have a set of 3.
So you're here demoing Gladius. Do you want to give us a quick elevator pitch on what it is, what it's all about, and when it's coming to Kickstarter?
Yes, so Gladius is an award-winning board game where you bet on and rig the gladiatorial games. So the elements that are most in it are bluffing and deduction, and it's very card-based. It's coming to Kickstarter in February, and we're really excited about it because we've been working on it for over 3 years. We actually initially started, we were like, we want to make a game, what should we do? And we found a local playtest group when we were living back in New York City, and then we got an artist, and then we kind of just jumped in and just like got involved in board games more than we thought we would. And over the course of those 3 years, this game has gone from like a paper prototype where we would just like put it in random card sleeves and take random art from the internet to something where we art directed over 46 unique illustrations with an artist. We have playtested and iterated on this game over 1,000 times, and we just wanted to bring the most fun and awesome experience in a product for players.
Well, okay, speaking of Rocky Horror Picture Show, if you had to pick a song from that to be the soundtrack for Fire in the Library, a game where you were rushing to save knowledge and books from a burning inferno, what would you pick and why?
So I actually took a look at the soundtrack, and the song that I would choose actually isn't on the official soundtrack.
Okay.
It's in the movie, and but it's not on the soundtrack, and it's performed on stage, but that's Sword of Damocles.
Okay.
Because it very much fits the whole like pressure luck theme. Like the Sword of Damocles is dangling over your head, and at any moment things could go bad in Fire in the Library. So I feel like
that's fitting.
I feel like it has a little bit in common with poor Rocky's plight at realizing that now he's in a world that is pain and suffering.
You have to believe we are magic.
I don't know what that means. Is that from a song? Hey, why did you drive from Portland to Orca Con?
To get here.
Okay, all right. Specifically, other than hanging out with me, why did you come to Orca Con?
Because Orca Con is one of my favorite conventions because it's just fun. You get to play games and hang out and have a good time.
Why would you recommend someone travel to come to Orca Con?
Because it's fun
Okay.
Hey, Christian, what are you doing these days?
These days, this is hard, dude. It's like a performance.
Didn't I send you these questions ahead of time?
I do not remember seeing them. I remember you sending them, not reading them. I've been doing a lot of things. One of the things that I've been doing is making a lot of video content for board game publishers. I recently did some work with Keymaster Games on their game Parks. We did the Kickstarter video for. Was that the Kickstarter video? No.
No, you did puppet work on that, right? That's pretty unusual in the board game community.
I did do some puppet work.
Can you do the voice now? Because you did the voice of a fox.
I did. It was all, it was a lot of methods, right?
Well, what did it sound like? Was it sort of higher like this?
I'm just not in it. I haven't been in it for a while, in character for a while, yeah. But, I lived among the fox population we live right next to a little national park in my house, and went into the woods, found a local fox population, stripped down, really lived among them, and kind of learned their ways, learned their language.
Can you speak some fox? What does the fox say? Very cool. How's the reception of this and playtesting gone here at Orca Con?
It's amazing. We've had a packed table all day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like the cinematic masterpiece Moulin Rouge, Orca Con seeks to bring together all walks of life. If you had to pick one musical number from Moulin Rouge to be the theme for Orca Con, what would you pick and why?
That's really hard.
There's a lot of good ones.
I would say the can.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, it's just like, it's joy, it's dance. I love it a lot because I used to dance when I was in school.
Okay.
And now I'm old and decrepit and don't dance anymore. But I love, there's so much energy into that, and how it brings all this music in. That's probably my favorite numbers, actually. The Roxanne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just like the thing I can't remember the name of right now, but
that'd be a rough one for Orca Con, huh?
Yeah, that's not us. But that's my favorite number because it's got, here's this Roxanne, and then there's the voices of the different characters, and then you also have the opera in the background with I think it's Pavarotti or something, and it all brings it together, and it is so beautiful. But it's sad. So if anything, that reminds me of. I'm sad that that everybody else can't come here.
Right.
Not everybody can come here. So.
If you were to recommend one game for brand new board gamers, what would you pick?
I would pick Point Salad, which I think is a really awesome game that came out in the last year. It's very similar in level to Sushi Go, and I play it with my friends all the time, or I'll bring it to them. You don't need to know a lot about board games to play it. It's very fast. It's very easy to get into. The art is very lovely, so I would recommend that.
Yeah, I would recommend Skull. I think Skull is you can play it anywhere, you can play it with any number of components, and it's got a lot of strategy and depth, and I think it teaches you to think in a more board gamey way if you've never touched a board game in your life before.
As a designer, we're here at Orca Con. What about this convention makes it appealing for designers to attend?
Because of their stance on inclusivity, there's a very wide range of individuals who come to this convention because they feel safe, they feel heard, they feel appreciated, and so you can actually get a much broader group of people to test your games than you can at a lot of other conventions that feel very much like they're dominated by the white male bearded sort that you see before you. But it works out really well in that regard. And Playtest Northwest is here partnering with them, so there are official places for designers to actually set up and have a table with guaranteed time to playtest their games. There are a lot of designers here, so if you're looking to workshop, there are a lot of other people that you can sit down with. And Seattle in general is full of amazing designers, and most of them attend Orca Con. So if you're looking to meet the people in the Seattle design scene, whether you're here locally or you're like me from somewhere else, this is a really good place to do it because it's very relaxed, very chill, and most of them are here.
Okay. What annoys you the most about Orca Con?
I don't want to say that on your own channel.
If it's the most inclusive convention, who here would you not want to show up? Who doesn't belong at Orca Con?
I don't want to call you out on your own channel.
All right, okay. We're done here. What's the game of Orca Con? Probably Arcane Alley, huh? Did you play Arcane Alley?
I played Arcane
It
Alley.
was pretty sweet, huh?
I lost.
Me too.
So
Now, if you had to pick a musical that you would say is the perfect soundtrack for Castles and Cats, it's a tough one. Take your time.
You know which one, right?
Which one?
Oh, Cats.
Now, do you
No, probably
think?
not
Well,
that.
I was going to say. Now, do you think the box office flop is going to affect sales of Castles and Cats at all?
Oh, I hope not. I hope people don't become disinterested in cats because of that.
I don't know.
movie.
Cats seem pretty popular in board games right now, so you might be okay.
Yeah, I might be okay. The internet will bring us many more cute cat pictures to.
So, is this going to be available on Kickstarter? Is it available now? What's the
So
deal?
I actually already successfully funded through Kickstarter, and it ended last April, so it's almost been a year. But it is available on casasandcats.com, and right now the digital copy's on sale, which we also have the physical copy. But the digital copy is just as good, I think, and it's really fun. And
One final question for you, Christian. Which board game most embodies the emotional turmoil that Troy is feeling in Bet on It from High School Musical 2?
Yeah.
You remember it's on the golf course.
Yeah, of
He's
course.
upset.
Yeah. He's on the golf course. He's dancing around by himself in a polo. This is
Was it a polo or a white T-shirt?
definitely a polo, and I think it's a black
Go
polo.
ahead,
It's a black polo.
Keep talking.
This is really Zac Efron's moment to shine. I think it's in High School Musical 1. He actually, little fun fact for you, he actually didn't do most of the singing. There's a guy named
What?
Drew Seeley who did it. He would sing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Zach would sing the opening lines, and then Drew Seeley would come in, and he would just be lip syncing over Drew Seeley's voice. But I believe High School Musical 2, which is when Bet on It takes
Right.
place, that is when I think Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron started dating.
They were
around
actually
that,
dating
right?
at that
right?
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so one of the things he wanted to do was
You're
actually.
right. It is a black polo.
It is-
I
it's
thought
a black
for sure.
polo,
I
yeah.
was remembering it as a white T-shirt.
He actually took the time to learn how to sing, and all of the parts in High School Musical 2 are sung by him. So I really feel like this is peak Efron, and this is kind of where he kind of came out of his shell and
Peak Efron?
It was his moment, you know what I mean? So
You saw, did you see The Greatest Showman? Christy, did you see The Greatest Showman? Yes. What did you think of Zac Efron?
Is that a Wolverine or X-Men Origins?
Yeah, X-Men Origins,
The Greatest
The
Showman.
Greatest Showman. It's where he tries something new for a while. Unbelievable. All right, that's enough.
Okay, well, I didn't answer your question.
All right.
So
Oh, you didn't answer the question.
no, I didn't. But this is really important to me, and you're just about to end
All right,
it.
I'm sorry, we're not going to end it. What game would you say?
Well, so what I'm trying to say is, I really feel like this is kind of like a moment of him becoming who he truly was meant to
Okay,
be, right,
okay.
in his career, and so I feel like a similar game to that for maybe like
Do you know?
I was gonna say Blood Rage.
I haven't played Blood Rage.
Okay. Well, the reason I say Blood Rage is because it's the only Eric Lang game that I've played. No. What's the game?
Thank you, Christy. I think we found our answer. If you were recommending Orca Con to someone, what day would you say they should show up? Probably Friday, huh?
Friday, actually Thursday night, because Thursday night I came here and I was bored. So show up on Thursday night so I have something to do next year.
I think my kid threw up on me on Thursday night. All right. Well, we're at Orca Con, and this has been Christy of Peace, Love, and Games. Bye.